What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Thai Tunes. And let me just say, it's cold. It's cold out here. I'm in San Diego. Maybe I'm just a big wuss and I like to be cozy, but I'm rocking the Kawaii hoodie today because it's cold. Not that it has anything to do with what we're talking about today, which is Earthgang's new album, Perfect Fantasy, which dropped a couple of weeks ago on Monday or Tuesday. It was a weird kind of drop, October 29th. So wanted to give you my thoughts and feelings on it as a pretty big Earthgang fan. Been riding with them since the early days of the Spillage Village mixtapes, the Bear series, as well as their own series, the R's, as you call it, Rags, Robots, and Royalty. So they've always kind of had that futuristic robot tinge, which really comes into play here on this album. But they've definitely had a pretty unique journey from being labeled as the new Outcast, a duo out of Atlanta, very eclectic sound and vibe. Their debut album, Mirrorland, didn't hit so hard amongst the critics, but I know a lot of rap fans, me in particular, really enjoyed it. And then they had kind of the weird Ghetto Gods drop with the logistics of their release date coming and going, and absolutely, first of all, no album arriving, and then absolutely nothing from the label or themselves. And the fans were kind of like, hey, what the heck's going on? And then it came out, I think, like 3 weeks to a month later. It's just kind of been this weird vibe with them, and they've definitely kind of gone in their own direction. That brings us to this album, Perfect Fantasy, which after a little bit of research, I found out was kind of a collection of their last couple drops, R.I.P. Human Art, as well as Robophobia, which had like a total of 5 songs from this album that dropped earlier in the year. So let's get into it. Deep Blue, absolutely gorgeous song. You get the feeling of being underwater or just having tons of bubbles and water floating over you. Very instrumental, very like ethereal vibe, like you're floating in the wind. And that's truly helped on by Little Dragon. Yakumi Nagano, I think I'm pronouncing that right, absolutely steals the show with the hook, and she's really the first voice that you hear. The instrumentation, it just kind of envelopes you, and it's not even for the first couple of minutes that Earthgang even comes in, so the song really allows you to just be engrossed in the sounds and really feel the weight and the vibe that they're trying to put on. All the lyrics evoke water or the ocean, being on the ocean floor, being on the bottom of the ocean. Like I said, you get the sounds of like bubbles and things rushing past you. It's very engrossing. I like this song a lot. The lyrics, okay, fine. I do like the part where he says, "You stressing about your hard day, that's nothing but a crumb on God's plate." It really tries to put things in perspective that maybe there is a higher power up there, that your struggles and your hardships of the day really are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. The song ends with kind of like a chime, almost like a sonic collecting rings, which really goes to the theme of technology or the perfect fantasy. I know that the vibe that they were going for was very video gamey, and that kind of truly starts to set the theme of the album moving forward. Love this song. Osmosis, this is another kind of wavy, vibey track. One thing I noticed is they're not doing a whole lot of rapping. This song's like 4 minutes long, and it's not even till well over the halfway period that they do come in and start to do that. It's cool, but it's kind of, 3 songs in, it's not really what you're expecting, or maybe my interpretation of things. You Gotta featuring Pharrell. This is a classic Pharrell 4-on-the-4 type beat, very bouncy. The beginning with the ticking of the drums and the tone in Pharrell's voice, just the overall beat really reminds me of something from that Nego album with A$AP Rocky and Tyler from a couple of years ago. Very similar vibe. I also like the driving 808s and the synths on this one. Not much more than the beat I really enjoy here. Love You featuring T-Pain. I was super excited for the song because their previous collab, Tequila, off of Mirrorland, was the ones. Unfortunately, this is not it. The beat is pretty low-key and kind of repetitive. It doesn't really go anywhere. It seems like it's going to build to something, but the drop never really kicks in. The hook is super repetitive, and it's not even until more than halfway does the gang come in again, and they drop pretty standard bars about sex, women, and diamonds. So, unfortunately, this is a miss, even though it was stacked up to be a hit. Zone featuring Eric Bellinger. Hollywood Cole laced this song. This is classic Earthgang. Cole, You stupid. You get the wonderful sample with the Jamaican vibes and a great drum roll during the outro. And they are finally rapping, man. This is what I was looking for. This is a nice low-key weed song with some choice bars like, I ain't made a tenth of what my talent deserves. This is a keeper. Bobby Boucher, this is the single off of R.I.P. Human Art. I absolutely love the bass line, that boom, 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 and the hook. I'm reunited with all of my vices, yeah. I still can't deny it. I got effing problems, but this is a great song, and they are rapping. Once again, I really enjoyed this when it came out on R.I.P. Human Art, and again when it showed up here, I was like, wait, I know this song. I recognize this song. That's when it first started to click, like, hey, maybe this is a collection of previously released music, but still, fantastic song. I love when Venus comes in hot about his latest conquest in his truck. Then Scotty, come beam me up, come clean me up. When you see me on the scene, I strut. Just great wordplay there, and he's totally rapping along with the beat. Another keeper. Put in work, you get that wobbly bass line. This kind of reminds me off of something from Frank Moody. Purple now and later, peachy star bursting through your skirt. I'ma put in work. Ooh, baby, I'ma put in work. This is super vibey, and I love it. Can't say enough about the wobbly bass and the drums and the twinkle that you get throughout the song. The chorus is a great medley of that bass line, the guitars, some drums, and the claps in there. The flow on the second verse, especially Johnny Venus, I think, they both sound really similar. I love how he employs the oh or though cadence, like sumo, judo, you know, who though. That's a great flow to end the song on. I love the vibes on this one. In my mind, I really like the crunchy bass in here. It sounds almost purposely blown out. I also like that little like dropping sound. I don't know how to explain it, but that little dropping sound, that cascading sound throughout the song. This one is very much like something is attaching itself or attacking your brain. It is kind of a drug song with the liquid sunshine twinkling, liquid sunshine leaking through the blinds. This one is all about the euphoria that you experience when you're on certain drugs. And I think it's very detailed and very realistic. Not that I've ever done so, but they put you in that mindset and you get that really floaty vibe, that concept on this song, which I really enjoy. Red Flag, super laid back beat with wonderful, sweet, mellow guitars, and you get that soft clap. I also love when the beat interacts with the lyrics, like when he says, my heart is thumping, boom, boom. When that's done effectively, I think it brings a lot to a track, and it's done really well here. The song is about the obvious warnings that we see in people and situations, but we go ahead and do them anyways, and people think we're crazy. Bars like, first date, what's your body count? Red flag. Second date, what's your bank account? Red flag. Those are the kinds of things that these guys deal with on probably a daily basis as fans and groupies like pursue them, but they are raising the red flag, and the song does a really good job of highlighting the things that they encounter and the things that they're trying to avoid, but they still go along with it, all just to a lovely, lush soundscape. This is one of the best songs on the album, my personal opinion. So after I realized that this was kind of a collection of tracks from their previous releases, it started to make sense why it felt so disjointed. I mean, the themes of technology and robophobia and like video games are all present and they pop up from time to time. But for the most part, the songs are kind of just all over the place, at least to me. If I had to make a recommendation, I would definitely say check out their debut album, Mirrorland. Check out the R mixtapes, Rags, Robot, Royalty, and definitely their collaborations with JID, Spillage Village, Dreamville, like on the Dreamville Collective. They are still signed to them, and I personally think that that's where a lot of their better work is. There are still some really good songs on here, like the ones that I highlighted, but for a cohesive album, I'd say go with Mirrorlands or one of their mixtapes. I'd probably give it a 6. Sorry, guys. I think that there's better work out there. I know a lot of fans out there, while they still have them, probably really think that they squandered their true potential. I think a lot of people had this perception of where they were going to go, and for them to not align with that maybe causes them to become less of a fan, and maybe we just put our own personal opinions on Earthgang of where they should go or what they should do, follow an Outkast real like rapidy rap footsteps, and they probably didn't want to go in those directions whatsoever. So it's just this kind of weird disconnect between the output that Earthgang is doing and the output that the fans were expecting. So this album, I'd give a 6. Overall, I really like Earthgang and encourage you to check them out. Let me know what you think about this album. Did you listen to this album as a whole, or did you enjoy some of the loosies or singles from the previous release? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next Tie Tunes. Stay warm.